Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Well, by now, you all have definitely heard this story about some college students who were really upset with the fact that they were being asked to detail some really personal accounts of their sexual history in order to register for classes. This is a new mandatory program that's being rolled out. They're saying it's a federal mandate, but we're seeing as some of these questions are going above and beyond the federal requirement. Now, this particular college, USC, the students were really upset. They got this questionnaire. It was like, please share a little bit about you. How many times have you had sex, including oral sex? How much have you had to drink in the last few months? You know, how many times have you used a condom? And this is based on a program that's supposed to be teaching kids about sexual assault. It's not required to ask them all of these personal questions. As Alex Jones said, this is very cult-like. This is what cults do. They ask you very personal questions so that they can use this information against you. And you might say, well, that's just crazy. Why would they do that? The schools just want to educate these kids on sexual assault. Well, indeed, the school had no idea what was even in this questionnaire. They actually were forced to apologize for it. And the USC senior VP for administration said that they would be removing the inappropriate sexual history questions from this training. And so now that raises a question, well, who's in charge of writing this program? Who's in charge of this software? And that's where things get a little bit sticky, because they're basically taking the federal mandate. This is a federal mandate which requires educational institutions to provide information to students regarding sexual abuse and the dangers of alcohol and drug abuse, as well as the procedures that you would want to take if you were the victim of sexual assault. Nowhere in that federal mandate does it require them to take personal information from you. And so earlier this week, I spoke with a young man, Blaine G., and his mother, Mrs. G. He was actually attempting to register for classes, and he was like, no way am I going to answer this. All sorts of red flags were going off for him, so he refused. And it was just sort of a soft rollout of this program at that point. Well, now it's a semester later, and now it's a requirement. And he's actually been shut out from registering from his classes. And so rightly, his mom did a lot of legwork, and she was pissed about what she found, and she shared a lot of the information with us. And it turns out that one of the software companies that's in charge of this, EverFi, is kind of linked up there with the government. They have a list of known sponsors that include American Express, Walmart, Bank of America, Discover, Target, Morgan Stanley, Hilton, Comcast, on and on and on. And a lot of venture capital firms, including Google, Amazon, the former CEO of Twitter, his venture capital firm, all of these, they're investing in this software. And guess what? Right in the privacy policy, EverFi says, and, you know, we might share some of these personal details that your kids are offering up with our third-party affiliates. Oh, and by the way, we don't guarantee that this won't be hacked into, that your information won't be scooped up, won't be lost somewhere out there in the Ethernet, or might be used in a nefarious way via a back door. And so it says that, right? You know, I'm obviously paraphrasing, but that's the gist of it in their privacy policy. So let's go ahead and listen to a personal account from a student who refused to take this pervasive, perverse training lesson. All right, joining me now is Blaine. He's a 19-year-old student attending Flathead Valley Community College in Kalispell, Montana. Blaine, thank you so much for joining us. Now, talk to me a little bit about your experience with this program. What happened? So it became something that was mandated for students.
Yes, when I first encountered it, I was in the Running Start program at Flathead Valley Community College last year, so that'd be the fall 2014 semester. And I noticed on the bathroom walls, that was my first, the first time I learned about the program. It said that there's a mandated program on alcohol education and sexual assault that was due on certain dates, and they offered a $5 coffee card as a reward for completion, which I thought was kind of suspicious myself. So why offer monetary
compensation for something that you have to take?
Yeah, something that's mandatory.
Mm-hmm.
I looked into it and I found that it was a soft rollout that year, that it actually was not required, and that they were going to be making it a hard requirement as of spring 2016 semester. So as I've progressed this last semester, they've also required by certain dates, and they have offered more monetary compensation in the form of pizza cards and such. But I have currently been refusing to take the program and am trying to get a waiver currently.
And so what's your problem with the program? Like, what are some of the questions that you feel are intrusive? And obviously, I know sort of trying to coax kids into taking this, signing up for this program and offering up your personal information with coffee and $5 gift cards should definitely raise some flags. But what else was it about it that really put you off?
Well, it's actually the main thing with the Haven program, which there's two parts to it. There's alcohol education and Haven, and the Haven is the sexual assault prevention portion. And in it, it's asking you questions like, have you ever coaxed someone with drinks to try to make your chances of having sex with them better? And have you ever had sex with someone who was not able to consent at that time, which in their definition is considered rape? Mm-hmm. And there's other such questions as that.
Right. And, you know, pretty much every guy that's bought a drink for a girl at a bar has in their mind, wow, this might relax her and, you know, make her open up a little bit. So right there, everyone is kind of setting themselves up for whatever kind of interpretation whoever's on the other end of this software wants to consider. And of course, they're using all this data mining, saying, you know, have you ever had sex while under the influence of alcohol? Well, according to these new rules and interpretations, that's rape. Along the course of your research, you guys have really been looking into this deeply for the last year. What did you come across that really shocked you?
Oh, there's a lot of it, I guess, but the amount of stuff in the terms and conditions and what they're allowed to do with it, basically they have no guarantee that any or all of the information provided is even correct or accurate in any way. And so they're not held accountable at all if they're giving false statistics, which lots of them we looked at appeared to be from contradicting statistics with other more reputable sources. Mm-hmm. And I'm really surprised that no one else has really seemed to look into this at all, considering there's hundreds of schools where this is taking place with thousands of students.
Right. And well, because with a lot of parents are probably thinking, yeah, of course I would want my child to understand the dangers of alcohol consumption. I mean, kids all the time are getting into comas and things like that from binge drinking. So, you know, obviously there's a certain aspect to it. And just like you point out with these federal mandates, yeah, they want to have these educational institutions educate people on this, but it does not require students to give personal information or opinions. And the key here is that it's going to a third-party corporation. Yes,
you can pretty much, if you read their user agreement, they can do pretty much anything they wish to do with it. Mm. And also the required information that by law, they are required to provide us education on this. But I found that at least at my local school and many others that I've looked at, it's all in their federal reports, pretty much all the required information. If you just read that or hand out a 15-page brochure, that's pretty much everything that's required by law.
So the key here with this story is that this is a complete overstep of the law. These companies are now taking this information and using it for their own purposes. It's not mandatory yet across the country, but it's going to be. So it's important that we fight back while the law still is in our hands. I mean, if you look at other stories that are coming out, college is forcing freshmen to wear Fitbits that track all of their moves so they can see how much they're exercising throughout the day. Or a lot of people were saying that these wellness programs that the insurance providers, they would offer you some incentives if you participate in these wellness programs. Well, now they're becoming involuntary. They're mandatory. Like we're seeing an employee who was his insurance was taken away from him completely because he refused to give in to this biometric screening that the insurance company was forcing on the company there. So, I mean, you're seeing that it's voluntary at first, but it's becoming mandatory. And that's why it's time to understand what you're doing. I mean, we saw the video there with Mark Dice, where he was just walking up to random people on the street and asking for their information. And because he was authoritative and because he seemed as though he was the authority figure, they were just offering him up all of their personal details. So it's time for people to wake up, quit buying into this ultimate surveillance state. Quit offering up your information freely. Know where it's going. And when you see something fishy like this at your university, stand up.
Again, ladies and gentlemen, you can get 6 months free at prisonplanet.tv, but only for 1 more week. Next Monday, the special that only comes around once a year ends. In fact, we've never offered 6 months free before, but I really want to get more people to join and to be able to watch the nightly news, to see the live reports we do, the special reports, all my films, ebooks, and so much more. One person can share their membership with 20 people, and you are funding the absolute very leading edge, the vanguard of the resistance to the globalist operation on every front. We have to have our own platform that is harder for them to censor, harder for the system to shut down. prisonplanet.tv. We put out the daily radio show free with the video and audio feeds at Infowars.com/show. But it is the members that get the nightly news exclusively and first, and the commercial-free video podcast and audio podcast that are paying it forward and financing and helping so many other people see the truth when we put the videos on Facebook, YouTube, and it's prisonplanet.tv that finances so much of the cameras, the equipment, the crew, the reporters. You are becoming a prisonplanet.tv member. You get exclusive HD, higher quality, get it first, and then you can download it, share it with friends and family, share your passcode with them, your username. It's a win-win, and then you're helping finance to put it out for free to everybody. prisonplanet.tv. Clean, pure drinking water. You can't survive without it. But where do you get it? Alexa Pure Pro is a brand new, groundbreaking, gravity-fed water filtration system that is like no other. The Alexa Pure Pro transforms water from virtually any fresh source into clean, healthy drinking water. Save $20 off the retail price and get free shipping. This is a limited time offer, so order your unit today and receive free shipping and $20 off. Go to InfoWarsStore.com or call 888-253-3139.